Yep, very difficult evening for a number of different reasons. Probably more so to the fact that we created a number of opportunities and were unable to take advantage of them at any point in time to grab the lead or to put ourselves in the ascendancy. Unfortunately, for the first time in a little while, we were chasing the game as well, which creates a slightly different problem and perspective for the group. But when you look at, I think, the way the guys have gone about their business again, dominated the ball, dominated shots, dominated touches in their penalty area, unfortunately didn't dominate the score. So there were plenty of things that we can feel good about, but of course the dejection is going to be all about the scoreline.
Thank you, Coach. Before we go on, I'll ask you just to move a little
Yep.
bit closer. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, Gary, in the last 9 matches, you guys have taken 7 points out of potential 27. I know you talked about how making the playoffs would be the biggest achievement since you've been here. What has to change other than just taking more points? It doesn't feel like this new form is
Right.
sustainable.
Well, first of all, I think there are a lot of people that criticise that comment, but they can see why I made it. You know, we're playing against some very tough sides. The lines are so fine between the groups. The points are so fine between a number of teams. And the difference will be taking advantage of the chances that we create. And of course, not giving away opportunities, certainly not losing the lead in the game. The opening goal is a body blow for everyone. I felt as though we'd started to get ourselves into a better position. They started a tad brighter than us, but we started to get to grips with the game. And really, out of not an awful lot, they take the lead. That emotionally, in a tight game, can be very difficult to contend with. The reaction to that was extremely positive. Our finishing execution in what I thought were some very good areas was poor, which in itself tells you the story. I'd be very, very dejected, and not just very dejected, if we weren't creating chances. But over the course of our last 2 games, we've now conceded 6 goals, which is a very uncommon theme for our group. And at the other end of the field, we've created a multitude of moments that we've not been able to capitalise on. So when you ask the question, what do we need to do? Well, we've got to be better in front of their goal. I think when you're pushing as hard as we were, not only to get yourself back in the game, but understand the importance of winning here, and especially against a side like Minnesota, who are in a very good position in the league. The balance between overcommitting and leaving an opportunity for your opponent to take advantage of is very slender as well. Did we get that balance right? Obviously not, because they were able to take advantage and win the game. But I think when we look back at the footage, we're going to be pretty peeved at the way the game unfolded, and especially when we got back on level terms, that we were unable to turn the game our way.
Hani scored again. If my math was right, he's contributed to 65% of your goals this season. And I know, like you said, MVP level player, but at one point you need more from some of the other guys.
I mean, I won't be able to remember every chance, Ben. But what I do remember, Alex came in on the back post with 2 fabulous opportunities, one a volley, one a header, that, in all fairness, need to have a little bit more edge to them. Fabulous that he's getting there. likewise other opportunities that were created. You're absolutely right. I can't say to you that we don't need other players getting on the score sheet. We truly do. And it's for those guys to step up to the plate and get that job done. Unfortunately, one of our informed players, fell foul of a problem yesterday, and that doesn't help the process. Till was in good form. We then have options, more experienced options coming off the bench to try and maybe carry the baton. But, I'm guessing you're going to tell me that every team's got to contend with that, and they do have to. We've got to find a way. I'd be very demoralised sitting here if we'd have been beaten 2-1 and we'd have had our backs to the wall and we hadn't looked like a team that had some purpose and had some belief that we could go and win the game. But I felt we did. We were just not good enough in front of goal.
Gary, the question goes two ways. Obviously, the opportunities were there, and some of them were very clear. But at some point, it seems like the team gets stressed because of the fact that the ball is just not going in. And St. Clair made few good saves too. So now, it seems like at that time, it changed a little bit of, I don't know, at least what I was seeing. And it's easy to second-guess a player sitting in the press box. But still, it seems like at one point, the Braves decided to take other chances away from the goal, from what they were doing good.
Yeah.
And the other part is on the side of defense. Six goals in the last 2 games, and many of them very unlike Nashville.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, totally. Everything you're saying is absolutely spot on. I think there's an anxiousness when chances come and go. You're looking for a new angle to try and make a difference. It's not through want of trying, but if you can just maintain some composure at that point, which is very, very difficult to do. The guys are putting an awful lot into the game. They did a fabulous job of getting back into it at 1-1. But when those chances come and go, don't think for 1 minute that it doesn't affect everyone's mentality, confidence, belief. And you're right, there's not as much structure as we moved into the final third of the game in trying to chase that elusive go-ahead goal. As far as conceding goals are concerned, I'm going to have to compartmentalise the 2 games for one reason. Last week, we played against an incredibly retooled Toronto team at the end of a very, very tough week. And there were certain aspects of the game that I felt we needed to achieve to try and prevent them from controlling too much of the game. In doing so, we left ourselves exposed. And I think when you look back at some of the goals last week, first one goes through Walker's legs. The penalty I would have to question. Look, you create your own luck in this game for sure. But I'm not sure we're getting the rub of the green in too many ways at the moment either. And if you look at today's game, the difference was, yes, we've had a week to prepare. Yes, we controlled more of the game. The actual focus and ability of the group to control the game today, I was very comfortable and confident about the opportunities that we've created. But we get back to the not scoring at the right time, not getting ourselves in front, not really fulfilling what we're achieving in our build-up play and our creation. And now players are caught in that risk-reward scenario. Do we take more risk to create more opportunities? In doing so, let's not take anything away from Minnesota. They've got some very, very good players. And with few opportunities, they made the most of it.
We're going to take it to the Zoom. We have time for 2 more questions. Drake and Tim, go ahead. Drake.
Yeah, Gary, you also talked previously this week about obviously the penalty
look, I'll go back to the comment I made a couple of weeks ago, and I stand by it. This is a tough conference that we've been put into this year, and it's been compounded by some difficulties that are wrapped around this season. It was always going to be a tough season. We would certainly have hoped, given our form at Titans and the way that this stadium has been opened and the support we get, to have been in a better position. But even that in itself brings different challenges, and we're going to have to face up to those challenges. It's the most difficult run that we've been on, for sure, since I've been here and since the team came into MLS. Well, in my mind, given the successes that we've had in the previous 2 years, we have a standard, obviously, that we're working towards. We believe that we're capable of achieving. But right now, we're certainly falling below that standard in terms of results and points. But we haven't had to encounter this before as a group. I'm telling you now, having been through it before with other teams, these types of runs, when you come through them, make you stronger. They make you a better group. The players understand the importance of winning games, of being on a good run, and no one, players, staff, and fans alike, do not take winning for granted. And I'm not saying anyone does consciously, but subconsciously, you think it's just going to happen. And I don't think the players are any different to any other person that walks this planet. Sometimes you go out there and you think, we're good enough to win this. And the same things that you were doing but 6 months ago or a year ago are not quite being fulfilled right now. Are we a million miles away from that? Absolutely not. You can see by the performance tonight. But I have no doubt that what we're going through right now is part of the history of this club, and we will come through this for sure. And we will be a better group for it. We'll be a stronger group for it. And I still believe we have enough in the group to go on a run that we haven't been on this year and put ourselves in a very challenging position. The season's not over. We've got a lot to play for. And we're in a lot of pain right now, but we'll come through this.
Tim, go ahead.
Gary, you mentioned finishing, obviously not just tonight, but a few times in the last couple weeks. When you look at some of the guys who haven't necessarily finished, CJ and Randall especially are historically pretty good finishers, and they haven't been over the past stretch here. Is there something mental through the team? Is there any sort of explanation other than just bad luck? And then the one guy who is in very good finishing form, besides Hani Teal, how long do you expect him to be out? Is this just a one-game injury?
Yeah, I don't believe in just bad luck, Tim. You make your own luck. And, I certainly felt as though we'd made enough luck tonight to get something out of the game, if not a little bit more than that. Forwards go through, creators go through spells in their seasons, in their careers, where they hit a barren patch, confidence goes, that instinctive nature in front of goal, you're second guessing, you want to have another touch instead of this is going in. I've seen this multiple times already. I'm going to take this on the half volley. I'm going to take this, and I believe I'm going to score. And when players lose that focus and that edge, sometimes it's just got to hit someone up the backside and ricochet in the bottom corner, and you get yourself back on a run again. I've seen it multiple times, as I'm sure we all have in this room and on this call. In trying to find that elusive moment, you tend to also be a little bit anxious as well. The body gets a bit tighter, it's not as loose, and you maybe have a shot from an angle or an area that really and truly, you're forcing the issue too much. And that's where we sit right now. But we're certainly not lacking purpose, energy, and creativity. It's the clinical side of it that makes so much difference. And of course, scoring goals, when you score them against good sides like Minnesota and against Dallas next week and against Toronto last week, getting in front and putting yourself in a slightly different position and maybe taking advantage of one or two mistakes they make because they've got to force the issue. That's what this game's all about. It's being able to manage those moments and not give too many away. As far as Teal's concerned, his groin tightened up yesterday in training, which was really disappointing. Nobody wanted to take any chances. He didn't feel quite right. Big loss today, of course. We'll know more in the next 48 hours. But, of course, I hope, and the group hopes, that he'll be back sooner rather than later.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.